212. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. How y'all doing tonight? Is the new legal. I'm back stronger than ever, and I'm taking us down truth memory lane. For some reason, some of us have forgotten the true method and the true visions of Microsoft. And for that, I do believe it's time to walk down memory lane. Welcome to Di-RREC Gaming. And once again, I'm here to bring some truth to the matter. I'm excited about the information, and I hope you guys give me some time to clarify this timeline as we start, and as we know that Sony and Microsoft has made a partnership. We know these things. That is the old news. But now, let's get to some news that'll bring us up to date on what transpired into what we're seeing now. Sony partners with Microsoft. My information take on the success story of Microsoft and to where they are today in the gaming industry. I don't mean to equate being an underdog with being a victim, insinuate that it's great to think of ourselves as victims, or state that we should blame these victims. Rather, underdogs are far from powerless. They are motivated to change the world and make possible what was once unthinkable. Dean Takahashi, the year Games Beat Summit 2016. The audience attendants are called the underdogs. Underdogs in the audience at Games Beat Summit 2016. At Games Beat Summit 2016 event this week, our theme was about underdogs. And during our talks with some of the leaders of the game industry, we found that everybody has an underdog story. Companies like Microsoft, Epic Games, Nexon, Marvel, and Samsung have all felt like underdogs in the gaming business. Malcolm Gladwell's stellar book, David and Goliath, is a collection of stories of what we learn when ordinary people confront giants. These are the stories and lessons that come from people who have been in a fight for a long time. Sometimes they lose and go away, but their stories are always inspiring and instructive. It is about people who find an outsized challenge and are forced to respond. They ask themselves smart questions like, what rules do I play by? Gladwell declared that much of what we find valuable in this world arises from these lopsided conflicts. The act of facing overwhelming odds produces greatness and beauty. These tend to be the stories that everybody thinks they know, but we often get them wrong. Perceiving a strength as a weakness and a weakness as a strength. Giants are not who we think they are, Gladwell wrote. I knew this as I went into our event. I wanted to listen for underdog stories. But what struck me about the talks was that each one had a different kind of underdog story about how they perceived being an underdog and the lessons that they got out of it. It was interesting how a company could be perceived as both a Goliath and an underdog at the same time. We often think of business people as part of Goliaths and the creators as the underdogs. But it was interesting to find business people like Rami Ismail of Vlambeer and Owen Mahoney of Nexon arguing ferociously and loud for the creators as a key to the future of gaming. When the creators take back control of the industry, as Pixar has done in animated movies or HBO has done in television shows like Game of Thrones, then you really have a real business born from a creative renaissance, Mahoney argued. Peter Phillips, executive vice president in charge of games and digital media at Disney's Marvel, noted how his company was an underdog and that it didn't have its own internal game studios, but it tries to turn that weakness into a strength by partnering with some of the best game developers. Robbie Bach, former chief Xbox officer at Microsoft, talked about how hard it is to launch the Xbox and how hard it was back in 2001. That system was ugly and expensive, and it lost $5 billion to $7 billion over 4 years. Against Sony and Nintendo, Microsoft was an underdog, but it bet out Nintendo, and in doing so with that vision, it was able to beat that console. during the console wars and put Sony on the defensive with the Xbox 360 generation. Microsoft survived the crisis of the red rings of death, defect problem with the Xbox 360, but only because it made a transition in building a product that consumers really like. In some ways, it's the way many things work. The beginning is really painful. We were an underdog, and we were not very good at what we were doing, Bot said. We didn't know what we were supposed to be doing. We had a lot of smart individuals, an all-star team of talent, but not a team. The first Xbox, we were lucky to get a product done. I've been involved in startups since just advertising, and being a startup is tough. It doesn't matter if you're inside Microsoft or on your own. That startup phase is crazy, and you have to find a way to persevere. He added, the team got past the first launch, got into selling the product, and started working on Xbox 360. We began a team through that process. That's what changed things. We went from being smart individuals to being a working team. Above, Owen Mahoney, CEO of Nexon, and Dean Takahashi of VentureBeat at GamesBeat Summit. Owen Mahoney, by contrast, has some very strong opinions about who the underdogs are. He feels that too many of the companies in the gaming industry are lopsided in favor of business. People who are good at PowerPoint and can make good presentations to the board of directors. These business people are so eloquent that they are often more successful than the developers who make games and are too busy to learn how to do presentations. The business people, Mahoney says, is why the creative people get shouted out of the room at the board meetings. Oddly enough, Mahoney is one of the business people, but he sees the problem with those who have his kind of background, particularly when they fail to listen to creators. Creators have been beaten down, and when they get in front of the money people, they make a pitch that they think money people will like. Mahoney wants to strip that away. He thinks this syndrome is why we have a lack of creativity. He thinks that his job should be to go get that coffee for the people who can make us great games, not shouting them out of the room. When he meets with creative people, he tries to convince them to propose the game that they really want to make. The underdogs of the industry are the artists who've been told that something that is not true is true. He said during our fireside chat, if you have to get funding, you have to do something that is not why you got into the gaming business. Those are the underdogs of the industry. Those are the people we have to put back in charge of this industry. The rest of us have to support them. At Nexon, that is what we are trying to do, and we are going straight ahead with it. He also said, if we have more artists throwing out people out of the room who don't understand the art of games, that's a lot of business people who've taken over the industry. And going back to the roots of making games, we have more innovation, the way we used to have 20 or 30 years ago. All the games we play today on console or PC or whatever come from that source. I wish I could meet more people like that around the world in the US or Europe or Asia. In 2014, Phil Harrison of Microsoft made a comment that still carries weight to this very day. This is what he said. Microsoft talks PS4 sales. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We're happy with our plan. March 2014. Today we see those words being repeated by, remember, that's a marathon, not a sprint. Interview with Ez Vidra, founder of Google Campus London and partner with Reimagine Ventures. May 16, 2019. Microsoft on Xbox One versus PS4. We are the underdog, but the race is far from over. Phil Spencer admits Xbox One faces an uphill battle, but says he is intent on winning this console generation. August 2014. In a new interview, Microsoft Phil Spencer admits that Xbox One is the underdog against PlayStation 4, but made it clear that his intent on winning this console generation. At some level point, it is still a competition, and I've said before I want to win, Spencer told Game Informer. At the same time, I want to build a great platform for gamers. If somebody else does that too, and they do very well, hats off to them. But I can have success in our own space, and we're selling a lot of consoles and people are buying games. As the Xbox team, we are the underdog, Phil Spencer said. The underdog now is a code for those who are thinking outside the box, those who are taking risks, those who are taking that 1 second of thought. Still, Spencer acknowledges the challenge that Microsoft faces. We shipped at the same time, and we're in direct competition with the PS4, he said. I'm not going to duck that. I want to win. I want to win this generation, but I want to win more than I want the other guy to lose. I own a PlayStation 4, and it's not like I want it to get dusty or not have games, but I do want to sell a lot of Xbox Ones. And as far as many people, that's a direct competition with the PS4. As an Xbox team, we are the underdog. They beat us in June, they beat us in May, Spencer added. But these months are small if you look at the sales. I think the whole month of June is about 1 week in November. They're winning, and they're doing their PR around it. They're running with that. And that makes sense. The battle is really, though, September, October, November, and December. Exclusive. Satya Nadella reveals Microsoft's new mission statement, sees tough choices ahead, June 25th, 2015. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said sent a company-wide email to employees this morning, laying out a broad agenda for Microsoft's new fiscal year, setting the stage for what upcoming Windows 10 launch and revealing the company's new official mission statement to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. The new mission statement will not be a surprise to anyone who has been following him at the helm of the company, but it crystallizes his vision for the company and is significantly more straightforward than Nadella's latest email is not being distributed publicly by the company. This was not sent out for the public, but it was obtained independently by GeekWire. The email mounts to a State of the Union message for employees, setting the tone and direction for the upcoming year. It reinforces many of the challenges that we are already underway, including the company's focus on mobile devices and cloud services. We will need to innovate in new areas, execute against our plans, make some tough choices in areas where things are not working, and solve hard problems in ways that drive customer value. The message also addresses the evolution of the company's culture as Microsoft attempts to become more nimble and responsive. I believe that culture is not static, he concludes. It evolves every day based on the behaviors of everyone in the organization. We are in an incredible position to seize new growth in this year. We will need to innovate in new areas, execute against our plans, make some tough choices in areas where things are not working, and solve hard problems in ways that drive customer value. The email follows the announcement of Nadella last week that 4 top executives will be leaving as part of a broader management overhaul that combines the company's Windows and devices groups. Last week news was the biggest shakeup to the company since he announced 18,000 job cuts that lasted last year. And today's emails give him a new chance to reinforce the company's vision for its more than 118,000 worldwide employees. Here's the next text of today's email as obtained by GeekWire. But before we go into that, I want to do a follow-up just to note that to everybody that Satya Nadella is setting the company up for the next 40 years. Note that these decisions that they are all making as far as the Xbox team is to set Microsoft up for 40 years. Team, I believe that we can do magical things when we come together with a shared mission, clear strategy, and a culture that brings out the best in us individually and collectively. Last week, I shared how we were aligned our structure to our strategy. Today, I want to share more of an overhaul context and connective tissues between our mission, worldwide view, strategy, and culture. It is critical that we start the new fiscal year with this shared vision on what we can do and who we want to become. Mission. Every great company has an enduring mission. Our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. I'm proud to share that this is our new official mission statement. This mission is ambitious and at the core of what our customers deeply care about. We have unique capability in harmonizing the needs of both individuals and organizations. This is in our DNA. We also deeply care about taking the things global and making a difference in lives and organizations in all corners of the planet. Worldview, we must always ground our missions in both the world in which we live and the future and strive to create. Today, we live in a mobile first, cloud first world, and the transformation we are driving across our businesses is designed to enable Microsoft and our customers to thrive in this world. It's important to note that our worldview for mobile first is not just about mobility and devices, it's centered on the mobility of experiences that in turn are orchestrated by the cloud. That is why we think of these two trends together. What we do with our products and business models has to account for this fundamental transformation. Strategy ambitions, our strategy is to build best in class platforms and productivity services for a mobile first, cloud first world. Our platforms will harmonize the entrance of end user developers IT better than any competing ecosystem or platform. We will realize our mission and strategy by investing in these three interconnected and bold ambitions. Reinvent productivity and business process. Build the intelligent cloud platform and create more personal computing. These ambitions utilize a unique set of assets that span productivity, services, cloud platform, our device platform, and our family of devices. There is an explicit path dependence on how we achieve the interconnectedness between the various elements of our strategy to gain momentum. First, we will reinvent productivity services for digital work that span our devices. We will also extend our experience footprint by building more businesses, processes, experience integrated into content, authority consumption communication, and collaborating tools. We will drive scale and usage by appealing to dual use customers, providing productivity services that enable them to accomplish more at work and in the rest of their lives activities with other people. Second, all these experiences will be powered by our cloud platform, a cloud that provides our customers faster time to value, improved agility to cost reduction, and solutions that differentiate their businesses. Will further provide a powerful extensibility model that is attractive to third-party developers and enterprises. This in turn enables to attract applications to our cloud platform and attach our differentiated capabilities such as identity management, rich data management, machine learning, and advanced analytics. Finally, we'll build the best instantation of this vision through our Windows device platform and our devices, which will serve to delight our customers, increase distribution of our services, drive gross margin, enable fundamentally new product categories, and generate opportunity for Windows ecosystem more broadly. We will pursue our gaming ambition as part of this broader vision for Windows and increase its appeal to consumers. We will bring together Xbox Live and our first party gaming efforts across PC, console, mobile, and new categories like HoloLens into integrated play. Strength across all the ambitions enables us to deliver high value to our customers while providing us the ability to my fault, to differentiate, to, to differentiate, ourselves from our competitors. Microsoft stops reporting console sales. Company shifts focus to Xbox Live engagement metrics. This is October 2015. Apples to apples, comparisons in the console wars are getting even harder to come by. As reported by Game Informer, Microsoft has changed the way it reports the performance of its Xbox gaming business. Going forward, Microsoft will no longer give quarterly sales updates for its Xbox One hardware. Instead, it will give metrics related to its Xbox Live gaming service. According to the report, the company is focusing more on engagement than console sales as a measuring stick. Microsoft still won't say how many Xbox Ones have been sold. Now it's May of 2000, May 2nd, 2018. Microsoft is providing a vague update on its Xbox One sales today after remaining largely silent for years on exactly how many consoles have been sold. Xbox One sales are up 15% over the same period last year, says Microsoft game marketing chief Mike Nichols in a blog post about recording settings. Xbox numbers to blog post still doesn't include any actual sales numbers, so it's hard to tell exactly how well the Xbox is doing. But either way, it's encouraging for Microsoft that its Xbox One sales are growing this year after the launch of the Xbox One X. Microsoft happily provided sales figures when the console first launched back in 2013, but the company soon stopped reporting numbers after it passed the 10 million milestone 3 months after Sony's PlayStation 4. Instead, Microsoft has been largely focused on providing numbers on active Xbox Live users instead of hardware sales. Even today's blog post includes Xbox Live players are up 13%, and that 600,000 friendships have been forged through the new looking for group feature. There are also more than 1.2 million clubs on Xbox Live now. Why Microsoft is calling Windows 10 the last version of Windows? May 7, 2015. Right now we are releasing Windows 10, and because Windows 10 is the last version of Windows, we're all still working on Windows 10. That was the message from Microsoft employee Jerry Nixon, a developer evangelist. Speaking at the company's Ignite conference this week, Nixon was planning how Microsoft was launching Windows 8.1 last year, but in the background it was developing Windows 10. Now Microsoft employees can talk freely about future updates to Windows 10 because there's no secret update in the works coming next. It's all just Windows 10. While it immediately sounds like Microsoft is killing off Windows and not doing future versions, the reality is a little more complex. The future is Windows as a service. It's all about Windows as a service. Microsoft has been discussing the idea of Windows as a service, but the company really hasn't explained exactly how that will play out with future versions of Windows. That might be because there won't really be any future major versions of Windows in the foreseeable future. Microsoft has altered the way it engineers and delivers Windows, and the initial results is Windows 10. Instead of big releases, there will be regular improvements and updates. Part of this is achieved by splitting up operating system components like the start menu and button-in apps to be separate parts that can be updated independently to the entire Windows core operating system. It's a big undertaking, but it's something Microsoft has been actively working on for Windows 10 to ensure it spans across multiple device types. While we witness the results in the coming months, Microsoft is already in launch mode for a number of its apps and services that power Windows 10. The software company is testing preview builds of Windows 10 with willing participants, and apps like Xbox and Mail have been engineered for regularly monthly updates. Even Office for Windows 10 will also get regular updates, much like mobile version, instead of this big bang release every few years. Microsoft has realized that it can't ignore PC gaming anymore, but it still has work to do in building a bridge from its game console. While the Xbox and PC are no longer isolated platforms, they still have a fair share of missing links. Read on 4 of the rundowns of where the Xbox One and Windows 10 create beautiful synergy and where they don't. It's all about streaming. One of the big benefits of having an Xbox One and a Windows 10 PC is the ability to stream console games to a computer. As long as both devices are on the same Wi-Fi network, Windows 10 Xbox app lets you play any Xbox game, including backwards compatible 360 titles. Latency can be slightly noticeable, but it's not a deal breaker for a single player game, and with a good enough router you can crank up image quality so it's almost like playing natively on a console. You can even use an old Xbox 360 controller to play Xbox One games, the PC side. Microsoft announced plans to bridge gap between PC and gaming, Xbox One, 3 years ago. PC gaming is considered by some to be the purest form of gaming one could partake in. It's up for debate, sure, but now Microsoft is planning to bridge that gulf between PC gaming and console gaming with its Universal Windows platform. Making the announcement last week, Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft Xbox division, confirmed plans to unify 2 platforms, Universal Windows application, and what's more, Xbox One will now become more backward compatible with older games already. A huge list of of 360 games have been made backwards compatible, and more are sure to follow. Microsoft's grand plan is to make Universal Windows Platform available on any console, thus making the Xbox One closer to a PC hybrid than a gaming console. That is the plan. We believe we will see more hardware innovation in the console space than we've ever seen, said Phil Spencer. We'll see us come out with new hardware capability during a generation and allow the same games to run backwards and forward compatible because we have UWAs running on top of a UWP. It allows us to focus on hardware innovation without invalidating the games that run on that platform. Cross-platform gaming has been a pipe dream for many years, with Shadowrun being the only game we can think of that doubled in the arena. However, if UWP takes off like Microsoft plans, it'll become much more commonplace. What's more, there's also to be the ability to play cross-platform games. You buy a game on the PC using Windows, you can play that same game on Xbox One. The big question, of course, is how developers and publishers will take this new system. Already, Microsoft is attempting to put Forza 10 into the UWP, and some developers have broadly welcomed their plans. One of the big advantages of PC gaming as well has been highly active modding community in the various games. Skyrim, for example, has had a hugely popular modded community since its release back in 2013. Many other games have been benefited from having heavy modding by fan programmers, with some developers even handing over code to fan communities to their help with their projects. Whether this openness will translate to UWP remains to be seen. So the vision is for Microsoft to bridge their gap between their Windows 10 platform and their Xbox platforms by providing games on each platform no matter what the game may be. Gaming without boundaries, our vision for the future of Xbox 2016. At Xbox, we believe you should have a diverse and expansion library of games. That's why, in addition to the many exciting games we announced today for Xbox One and Windows 10, we unveiled the new Xbox Play Anywhere program that will enable you to buy a game once and play it on both the Xbox One and your Windows 10 PC. We believe in uniting gaming communities where you can play, compete, and connect with your friends wherever they are. Today we showed how Xbox Live is being made available for developers to use across Xbox, Windows 10, VR, and mobile, as well as across other participating networks. We believe in gaming for everyone, and we feel strongly that all gamers deserve to be welcomed, respected, and supported. With that as one of our driving forces today, we announced new Xbox Live features to help you build out your gaming network and play your way. Phil Spencer wants to bring OG Xbox emulation and Xbox Game Pass to PC. I want people to be able to play games, he said. Emulation is hard. The 360 especially is a power PC chip emulated to X6, which is difficult. 2017. It's a little bit easier when you have a fixed spec when you think about Xbox One S and Xbox One X, and you think of the variable specs of the PC space, so you're taking a fixed spec power PC emulator and then moving it over to a run on a PC. So there's a lot of work there. The original Xbox, OG Xbox, is a little bit easier because that was an x86 chip it was running on. Obviously, when we think about UWP and the ability for games to run across console and PC, we're getting closer. I want developers to be able to build portable applications, which is why we've been focusing on UWP for games and even apps that want to run on the multiple devices. In that same year of 2017, Microsoft finally made the industry a true console the developers could take their talents to and utilize a visual performance, having two console names released, one as the Scorpio and the other standard as Xbox One X. The Xbox One X had no competition, and it was easily the go-to console for the marketing value. Devs ran to the console to be able to show their games at a much higher demand. The X clearly shook up the industry. Microsoft's ambitious plan to build the future of gaming includes a Netflix-style gaming service, blockbuster games streamed to plump phones and the cloud. Yes, new consoles. June 18, 2018. As 2017 brought a true 4K Ultra gaming with real premium HDR, allowing capabilities for certain games to hit 60 frames per second, Microsoft was ready to begin pushing a vision many thought was all talk and no show, even after what Microsoft had already proven already. Its three-step targets are at a great advantage time to be revealed, and with Game Pass as a jewel piece to the knit of that realization. Here's a look into the future of Microsoft's Xbox straight from the leader, Phil Spencer. Creating the Netflix of gaming with Game Pass. Number one. We all know that Microsoft Game Pass is $10 a month. It offers over 100 games and includes every first-party game that Microsoft makes, loads of indies, and as of very recently, some heavy hitters from third-party publishers like Bethesda Softwares. Instead of streaming the games like Netflix, you download each game to your Xbox console, and as long as you're paying for Game Pass, you can keep all your games you download. Best of all, any new Xbox One game that comes out from Microsoft are included with Game Pass. We all know the benefits of that. I'm not even going to get into the details of that because we pretty much know what Game Pass has to offer now. But I want it to be a place where creators feel like they can take risks in things that they want to do and know that they have an audience of people who are already invested in that service, such as the marginal cost for them to click onto the next icon and give it a try is very, very low. The comparison to Netflix becomes an app once more. Netflix funds lots of creative, bizarre stuff because it can afford to fail. With many millions of paying subscribers, Netflix has a sturdy financial foundation from which to experiment. It also has a large platform to surface content that otherwise might get lost in a digital storefront. Number two, building a platform to let people play games anywhere, whether you own a gaming console or not. Microsoft on a stage in the Microsoft Theater in downtown Los Angeles, Xbox leader Phil Spencer offered the clearest picture yet into Microsoft vision for the future of the Xbox brand. We know this one right here. Our cloud engineers are building a game streaming network to unlock console quality gaming on any device, Spencer said. Not only that, we are dedicated to perfecting your experience everywhere you want to play. On your Xbox, your PC, on your phone. It's an echo of sentiments he's expressed previously, but it's the most definite testament to Microsoft plans for the future of gaming. There are 2 billion people who play video games on this planet. 2 billion. We're not going to sell 2 billion consoles, Spencer told in an interview following his stage presentation. Many of those people don't own a television. Many have never owned a PC. For many people on the planet, the phone is the only computer device they got. It's really about reaching a consumer wherever they are on the devices that they have. That said, logic dictates the ability to stream console quality gaming on any device. Depends on some pretty major upgrades to internet speeds around the world. It also faces hurdles like the uncertain future of net neutrality laws and consumer internet data apps. In the meantime, Microsoft AZURE cloud platform offers an infrastructure that Azure cloud platform offers an infrastructure that few other companies have. 50 data centers in different parts of the planet, billions of dollars in investment, and building that out. It also allows us to accelerate our growth in the space, Spencer told me. Building the next Xbox. Microsoft, in a surprise move, Spencer outright announced Microsoft works on the success of the Xbox One. You read that correctly. Microsoft has already announced the next Xbox after the next Xbox One. The same team that delivered unprecedented performance with the Xbox One is deep into architecting the next Xbox consoles. He said on stage, "We will once again deliver our commitment to set the benchmark for console gaming." Microsoft Xbox exclusives push continues with new studio acquisitions. The next generation console war is coming. November 10th, 2018. Microsoft is continuing its push to create more exclusive titles for Xbox. Earlier this year, the software maker announced that 5 new studios will be joining Microsoft Studios. These new studios are the Initiative, Undead Labs, Playground Games, Ninja Theory, and Compulsive Games as part of Microsoft Studios. Microsoft now has a total of 13 game development teams. They're now all part of the bigger push towards the first-party titles that the Xbox One has been lacking against Sony's PlayStation 4. It should be set for Microsoft for a far more interesting battle with Sony, Nintendo, and others for the next generation of console games, expected to arrive in 2020. Microsoft Studios' buying spree is likely not over, says Xbox Phil Spencer. Xbox Phil Spencer isn't ready to let off the gas yet. In a recent CNET interview, he says that his team isn't done showing up Microsoft's first-party game offerings. I've been explicit that we needed to up our investment in our first-party studios, and at E3, we announced the addition of 5 new studios. I don't think we're done. The field is ripe for the triple I. Studios pumping out artistically and technically proficient games, building the Game Pass library. There has been going after quantity as relatively low prices, so are likely going to keep chasing the 100 million size deals, says Wedbush analyst Michael Patcher. But head of Microsoft Studios Matt Booty tells Game Industry Biz that Microsoft is looking at studios with 50 to 100 employees that release games every 2 to 3 years. A big theme in the interview is concerned with Game Pass, Microsoft Netflix-style subscription service. Game Pass marks another step for Microsoft, looking at success at the ecosystem base rather than motivated strictly by console sales, as the newly announced Xbox All Access program reinforces. Enter next-gen takeover. At E3 2018, Microsoft confirmed that the next generation of Xbox, known as Xbox Scarlet, is in development. The next Xbox may come in 2 variations, a standard high-powered console codenamed Anaconda, and a cheaper cloud-based device that streams games from the internet currently known as Lockhart. Microsoft is clear on its approach and now wants to show everybody why cloud is the future of gaming. Part 1. This has been the new legal representing Di-RREC Gaming. I want to say shout outs to Di-RREC Gaming for allowing me to flex my thoughts and my insights with my studies and my expertise of the knowledge of the Xbox brand. Thank you all for believing in me. Thanks for all the support. And this is part 1. Part 2 is coming soon. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Anybody that's been following Xbox is not in the dark. Microsoft has been strategically making these decisions for many years, and it was in 2015, late 2014, that the vision was implemented, and they never gave up. Microsoft is poised to making this reality a reality to millions, possible billions of people. Once again, this is the new legal representing Di-RREC Gaming. And until next time, y'all, peace.